So hello everybody. Greetings from Northwest New Mexico. I thought that Terry and I would just come up here to my favorite spot, the Navajo Lake State Park in New Mexico, where the fly fishing's fantastic. So even if we ran out of food, I could go throw a line in and we can kind of isolate ourselves for a couple of weeks. And there's a couple of reasons for doing that. One, we've been in a metropolitan area, so it certainly wouldn't hurt us to be isolated, make sure that we aren't carriers of coronavirus. And I don't worry about that stuff really. I have some concern about it in regards to the fact that it's highly contagious, and it seems to be a very potent virus, especially if you're elderly. And fortunately, it doesn't seem to affect young people nearly as much, so that's really good news. But I do like the way that the organizations like the NBA, NCAA recognized what's going on, and early on stopped having large gatherings of people, because that's exactly what would make this become full-blown. So I give them a lot of credit for being proactive and doing a lot of that stuff on their own before anybody even suggested they had to do it. So that, I think, is kudos to them. And it'll be one of these things that if it works, everybody's going to go, oh, so overblown, worried about. Yeah, the reason is that it got stopped, if that's the case. Okay, so be thankful for that. Because I can guarantee you, if it didn't, I'll put a little chart up of a little math I did of the way this thing works. And I figured that regardless if we did nothing, this would be over by the end of May. Pretty much on the downhill slide. And the reason is that once enough people have become infected and either removed from the pool, like I would probably be, or recovered and are now immune, then the virus doesn't have any new targets, and the ability of it to transmit from one person to another is vastly reduced, and it goes away. That's the way these pandemics work, right? So if you take 300 million people and have even a 3% fatality rate, that's, what is that, 9 million people? I mean, that's a lot of people. And chances are you're going to have lost somebody in that process that you wouldn't have wanted to. So I'm all on board with what we're doing in terms of limiting large crowds and the hand washing and that kind of thing. I'm not on board with freaking out completely, buying up toilet paper. And we stopped at Walmart because I wanted to get some noodles and stuff like that are lighter weight, so that we could make sure we had a couple weeks of food in the RV. And I had seen people talking about the run on stuff and some empty shelves, and to see it firsthand somehow really settles that home. Wow, you begin to understand human nature a bit when it's times like this. I think for now we probably have a spot that'll at least last us a week, and we can go from there. But it's a gorgeous day here, and I am going to go do a little fly fishing just because I can. So I was just down fishing in my absolute favorite spot in New Mexico. The river's just down behind me, the San Juan River. So we came up here thinking we could hide out for a couple of weeks and kind of evaluate things as they went along. And we got here, and Terry just called me. They've closed our campground, and we have to be out by 2. And it's I understand, I'm going to go along with everything. I think it's a little weird because it's not a gathering place for a lot of people. But I do understand wanting to protect employees and people coming in here. You don't know where they've been. So I don't have a problem with that. We'll find a place. We'll move on. We're stocked up for a couple weeks or whatever. We can live pretty well out in the middle of nowhere if we have to.